Good evening. I feel honoured to have been asked to craft a few simple words into a meaningful tribute to those delectable, those desirable, those delightful creatures collectively known as the Lassies. I did ask Liz, it being a Soroptimist Burn Supper, and the Soroptimists being an organisation promoting women's position in the world and tackling important issues affecting women and girls, I did ask whether I should tone down a bit to avoid offending in any way. No, said Liz, they're a thick-skinned lot. And the usual misogynistic, non-PC stuff would be okay. However, yesterday she qualified this by saying, however, keep it inoffensive, no bad language, smut or rude comments. So if you wouldn't mind, lads, let's toast the Lassies. I think I'm all right. In researching the history of speeches at a Vernon supper, I found that the address to the Lassies was originally a short speech by a male guest, usually at an all-male dinner, given in thanks to the women who had prepared the meal. How times have changed. Today we have Charles in the kitchen here to thank for the meal. If you watched Professional Master Chef the other month, then you'd be forgiven for thinking that 90% of chefs are all male. And looking at the adverts on TV, it seems that most lassies don't cook now, but instead buy instant meals from Marks and Spencer. So a lot has changed from the original Vernon supper approach to the address to the Lassies. And what is now traditional is a brief talk about how whimsical and wonderful all you beautiful ladies are, and intertwining the theme around some facts about the life and some readings of the words of Robert Burns. And the intertwining of Rabbi and lovely women is something that did not happen infrequently. Burns' bride, Jane Armour, was the inspiration for his poem, A Wife's a Winsome Wee Thing, which is quite an image, as apparently she bore him 2 sets of twins before they were wed. In total, 9 children, and he allegedly sired 13 others, with at least 5 other ladies, all during a period of 11 years. It's no surprise to me that the stress of procreating and being responsible for this mass of mini humanity resulted in Burns passing away from heart failure at the age of 47. Marriage has changed significantly since the 1700s, and I'm not at all sure Rabbi would have been happy with the modern world. Marriage today, gentlemen, as you well know, is the process of finding out what kind of man your wife would have preferred. The institution of marriage is spelt out there in the wedding ceremony, yet we men didn't see it. You walk down the aisle, you approach the altar, you make a few promises, and sing a few hymns. We don't pay heed, yet there it is before us. The purpose is quite clear. Promise, I'll alter him. But I digress. Rabbi in his time clearly must have understood women, and he had a clear idea of their place in the world, which appears to have been mainly in bed. But to understand women is very rare indeed. I recently heard a story about the Garden of Eden. A few days after the creation, the Lord called to Adam and said, it's time for you and Eve to start the process of populating the earth. So I want you to kiss her. Adam replied, yes, Lord, but what is a kiss? The Lord gave a brief description to Adam, who took Eve's hand and took her to a nearby bush. A few minutes later, Adam emerged and said, thank you, Lord, that was very enjoyable. The Lord replied, yes, Adam, I thought you might enjoy that. Now I want you to caress Eve. So Adam said, what is a caress? So the Lord once again explained this to him. So Adam went behind the bush with Eve. A few minutes later returned smiling and said, Lord, that was even better than a kiss. And the Lord said, you've done well, Adam. Now I want you to make love to Eve. You got it. Adam asked, what is to make love? So the Lord once again explained to Adam what was meant. So So Adam went behind the bush with Eve and reappeared a few seconds later. And Adam said, Lord, what is a headache? And gentlemen, don't even think about arguing with them. It's a bit like reading software license agreements. In the end, you ignore everything and just click, I agree. It's not just us mortals who struggle with understanding women. There once was a Hell's Angel who'd recently had an acrimonious split with his girlfriend and had parked up his Harley and was walking along a beach in California. In the surf, along the shoreline, he spied a small green bottle, which he picked up and examined. There were no markings on the bottle, and an ancient brass crew cap sealed the top. You could vaguely make out something inside the bottle, so with considerable effort, he unscrewed the top, and yes, out popped a genie. And the genie said, Greetings, O leather-clad hairy one. You've released me from 500 years' captivity. And to reward you, I can grant you a single wish for anything you desire. So the biker thought long and hard and eventually said, you know, I'd really love to get to Hawaii, but I'm frightened of flying and I get seasick. So what would be really cool would be a bridge from here to Honolulu, so I could ride my Harley all the way to Hawaii, and after a week or two, then I could just ride home. Genie looked the biker in the eye and said, I can arrange that. But before I do, I sense that despite your tough looks, you're a kind and sensitive man. And I would ask you to consider the cost of the earth of such a project. Consider the concrete, consider the steel, the piling, the logistics, the dangers to the engineers and construction workers. I can arrange for all this to happen, but isn't there something of more benefit to the world that you might think of? I thought again for a few more minutes and pondered on his recent split from his girlfriend and said, you're right. What I really would like to know is how to make women happy. What makes their moods change? What makes them smile? What makes them sad? I'd like you to help me understand women. And the genie said, this bridge. So even the spirit world struggles to understand women. Rabbi Vernon, however, was an astute observer and manipulator of women's thought and action. In May of 1787, Burns was touring the borders and visited his friends the Ainsleys. He accompanied them to church on a Sunday, and he listened to the minister deliver a heavy denunciation of obstinate sinners, and observed that the beautiful Miss Ainsley was searching for a passage in her Bible. He asked her for the book, which she passed to him, and on the inner leaf he wrote, this is true, Fair maid, you need not take the hint, nor idle text pursue. 'Twas guilty sinners that he meant, not angels such as you. Quick to spot a chance to flatter, and perhaps to conquer in any circumstance. There's no doubt that women were a prime inspiration to him in his poetry, and brought out the romantic in him. I think perhaps the most beautiful poem and song ever written about the man who love of a man for a woman was his poem, Red, Red Rose. As fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas run dry. Burns is surprisingly often closely associated with church and churchgoers, and a reference to a church closer to home comes in a poem written in the winter of 1788, when Burns was in the Midlands. Indeed, it would appear he was here in Solihull, writing, St. Alfred's lassies, comely and fair, act upon my entreaties. I'd like with them to rest some air, if they spend all my brass in beaties. Many Burns scholars question the authenticity of that work. The gentlemen of Solihull have never doubted its veracity. So there you are, and there will now follow a roasting of the laddies by Isabel, I'm sure. And I will sum up by saying, lassies, We don't understand you. As hard as we try, we don't understand you. And we're envious of Ravi Burns' great dexterity in this respect. We have no doubt, however, that if we were to try to emulate Burns and lead our lives in a philandering manner that Burns led, we'd not survive 11 minutes, let alone 11 years that he managed. So we try our best, and in truth, ladies, although we complain and although we joke, we do enjoy your idiosyncrasies. We accept being subtly manipulated by you, and we enjoy your company, your companionship, and we especially enjoy seeing you as beautiful as you are tonight. Why? Because we know we can't manage without you. And we are painfully aware that a woman can make an average man great, and a great man average. It was Oscar Wilde who wrote, "Women are made to be loved, not understood." But it was Ravi Burns who many years ago clearly showed his understanding of women and the superiority to us when men were writing, "All nature swears the lovely dears, her noblest work she classes, her prentice hand she tries on man, and then she made the lassies." Gentlemen, laddies, will you please be upstanding and drink the toast to me? The lassies.
The Lassies.